Welcome everybody to the 40 Finance channel. My name's Jeff Beers, and I don't talk about cryptocurrency on this channel very often, but we have some news here that actually affects me and my very small cryptocurrency holdings. If you've been watching the channel for a while, you know my theory on Bitcoin and Ethereum is there could be something to it, particularly now that there's some actual use cases around how it gets used and how those transactions take place. And in the case of Bitcoin, I think it's intriguing, if anything else, just because there's a finite number of it. Now, back in 2018, I did opt into some exposure to Bitcoin through GBTC, which is a publicly traded asset, the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. It's not exactly an ETF, but I did want something that traded on the public markets that I could have access to. So I made a small amount of money, call it $1,000 or two, just by holding GBTC for a couple years. Then as we got into COVID lockdowns and stuff, obviously the mania behind crypto scaled up significantly, and I started to buy into more and more theories that, like, hey, if you're going to get into crypto, you need to use an app or a utility that lets you actually own the specific coins that you have. And after studying that concept for a little bit, I decided it sounds like a pretty good idea. So I took some of the money from my GBTC sale and I started to put it into this Voyager app, which is on the screen, with the concept that within Voyager, when you buy 0.001 Bitcoin, you actually own that piece and you have the opportunity to move it out into some digital wallet or other place that you want to move it. Now, for me personally, I'm not a crypto expert and I never really set up the second part of this, which is the digital wallet, cold storage, all that stuff. I just let stuff sit in my Voyager app, and lo and behold, about a week or so ago, Voyager, through some bad investments, decided to halt trading, withdrawals, deposits, the whole nine. You can still log into your account and see what you have, but there's really nothing that you can do with any of it. So this whole thing started around July 1st. And where we are now, shortly after the 4th of July, they have filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, which is not the same thing as getting completely knocked off the face of the earth. It really just gives you protection against creditors so you can try to do the right thing and get the company back in order. Needless to say, though, as a customer has some holdings in Voyager, I do not own Voyager stock. Ironically, though, I've almost bought it before, but since it was an OTC stock, I had some extra fees in my Ally account, so I just stayed away from it. But, anytime you have money somewhere and you see Chapter 11 bankruptcy, you start to think, hey, is this money all gone and what does it mean? Flipping over here, I took some screenshots of my account. It's only a mobile app, so this is kind of like the best way I could figure out to show it to you guys on the camera. But you can see portfolio value for me right now is $690, but obviously with the collapse of Bitcoin and crypto, I'm down over $800. Now I went back and added up all of my deposits into Voyager, and it comes out to $1,576, so $1,576. That's how much cash I have transferred into this app. And then obviously, since crypto has fallen down, that $1,576, even if I could sell it all and withdraw it today, is only worth $690. Here's a look at my holdings if I would be able to pull that money out. I got $2 in cash, which Voyager's FDIC insured, so I'll probably get my $2 back. But some of these other things, I'm not sure. So Bitcoin, 0.023 Bitcoin, something like that. It's worth about 500. Ethereum, 0.068. The Voyager coin, which I'll show you in a second, that's in at 103 VGX, and that's worth $22. And then the USDC coin have 103 of those. That's worth about $1, so 103.28. Now I want to show you this rewards column here. I don't have any for Ethereum, but there's these minimum balances that if you keep Voyager every month would send you reward coins, right? In the same format of what you held. So with Bitcoin, for example, even though I only hold 0.023, they have given me over time 0.0004 just for holding it there. So it was that kind of like free interest, if you will, that is the reason that I kept my stuff in Voyager. And I was never expecting it to make me rich. I was never expecting it to really do anything but just be an alternative savings account that generates interest and obviously is a lot more volatile, and we certainly saw that. But my focus was really on having a little bit of Bitcoin, and then these VGX and USDC, they offered a lot more in terms of interest rewards. So at some point with those, I managed to get my minimums up to 100. In fact, you can see I basically deposited the 100 level, right? Like, let me test this out. Let me see how these rewards go. And on both of them, I essentially earned just over 2 coins each in the short time that I had them. All right, so what are the odds that any of us using Voyager Digital get any kind of money back? And over here on Seeking Alpha, they've got a pretty good breakdown of it. Their announcement on Wednesday that it filed for Chapter 11 is putting its account holders in a tough position, as they likely won't be able to recoup 100% of their Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other cryptos. That's because the crypto broker and lender said it's expecting users to be impaired by the restructuring process. Nevertheless, the company is seeking to repay its users with a combination of their crypto deposits, stock in the restructured Voyager, coins, and money recouped from collapsed crypto-focused hedge fund Three Arrows Capital. That's who owes Voyager over $650 million, but they went bankrupt too. For users that have US dollar deposits in their account, they will receive access to those funds after a reconciliation and fraud prevention process is completed. All right, so on the bright side of my 2 US dollars, that will come back. So that's where the FDIC guarantee comes into place, and I think it's up to like 250,000, something like that. Your bank would have exactly the same thing. So that's great on US dollars, but obviously very few of us in the Voyager app are going to just leave regular US dollars in there, particularly when you compare it to some of the rewards opportunities that they were offering, even with USDC. If you didn't want to take a lot of risk, USDC is supposed to stay right around $1. It's basically supposed to be pegged to the US dollar at a crypto level. They were offering 9% rewards for that. Of course, in hindsight, we find out that the catch is, that 9%, if something goes bust, as it has, USDC coin is not FDI insured, right? So there is really no reason that they have to pay you back as they're going through this bankruptcy. It sounds like Voyager is going to try to do right, but my expectation is that the court process, liquidation, all this crap is going to be a long, drawn-out process, and I'm essentially kissed that money goodbye, certainly over the short term, and we'll see where things pop up and fall. Now, if we peek over at the CEO's Twitter profile, he goes on a long, drawn-out tweet that gives us some additional details. You can see here at the beginning, voluntary financial restructuring process to protect assets on the platform, maximize value for the stakeholders. So when you're in a negative process, maximizing value could be as simple as we'll get you 10% of your money back, right? Especially customers, and emerge as a stronger company. Then we go down here. We strongly believe in the future of the industry, but prolonged volatility and the default of Three Arrows Capital require us to take this decisive action. Then he goes on to talk about the Chapter 11 As part of this process, the proposed plan of reorganization would resume account access and return value, again, value, to customers under this plan, which is subject to change given ongoing discussions, requires court approval. Customers with crypto in their accounts will receive in exchange a combination of the crypto that they had, proceeds from the Three Arrows recovery, common shares in the newly reorganized company, and Voyager tokens. All right, so to recap my crypto journey, I made $1,000 or $2,000 from GBTC during the boom. I pushed $1,500 of that into Voyager, got some rewards. Then crypto crashed and my whole account dropped to about $690. But I was still getting rewards and I wasn't in any kind of hurry. It was just going to sort of be there, right? And we know that probably at some point crypto will hit the positive news again. We don't know where it's going to go, but I was perfectly fine just leaving it sit there. And now the company collapses, goes into Chapter 11. And with that Chapter 11, the best I can really hope for is that Voyager returns value to me, the customer, in some form of partial crypto, stock in the reorganized company, and VGX tokens. All in all, though, I'm marking this investment as a complete loss, going to zero. I put $1,500 in, and crypto may still continue to roll right along, but I obviously chose the wrong app or service to try to go through with this. If I would have just hung on to my GBTC, I would probably still be down significantly given the collapse of the prices. But now I have no assets, whatever, certainly assets that are accessible. So I'll mark it down as zero until I see some sort of reward or money in my actual banking account. All right, guys, let me know if you've lost any money in this crypto game in a similar fashion. And I'm not talking about price depreciation. I'm talking about lost coins, stolen coins, locked out of accounts like Voyager. Let me know if you have any similar experiences. Good luck to us all in this game. We knew that the risk was high, and at least where I sit, the risk outweighed the reward. Hope everybody's having a great day. We'll see you on the next video.